Hello Oilers fans, Austin here, and welcome to the day after discussion video between the Oilers and the Buffalo Sabres. Last night, the Oilers absolutely dominated the Sabres pretty much right from the first period on, even though they fell behind early 2-0. The Oilers ended up winning 8-3. They scored 6 unanswered goals from the end of the second period to the end of the game, including 5 goals in the third period, an absolute offensive outburst that I was hopeful was going to happen. In my pregame report, I was like, hey, I think Edmonton is due for an offensive breakout. I did not predict them to score 8 goals. I had predicted them to score 5 goals, so it was really nice to see. Now, before I get into the, oh my God, meat and potatoes of this video, just like punching my mic, for those of you who are maybe new or unfamiliar with the channel, or if you've tuned in before and you haven't subscribed or anything like that, basically the day after is a episode that I do the day after every Oilers game. I kind of just go more in depth with different talking points. I talk about players, on ice stuff. Sometimes I bring up analytics. It's just a way to engage with you, the viewer, just a little bit more. It's very formal. I just sit down in front of the camera. I just have a chat with all of you and talk about a whole bunch of different things. If that is your cup of tea, if you like Oilers content, if you like daily Oilers content, I do provide that. So if you want to join this amazing community that we're building, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, and tell all your friends. And also, let's just kind of jump into the day after discussion. So basically, first thing I want to talk about is Mattias Ekholm. Holy smokes. He had an unbelievable game last night. He had 2 goals and an assist. He was all over the place. And the last 5 to 7 games, I find Mattias Ekholm, his play, he has elevated it to another level. This is a level of play that I don't know how I want to word this. Not that I didn't expect, but if he can bring this type of play, he's always been good. Don't get me wrong. Mattias Ekholm has always been phenomenal. He's been amazing since he joined Edmonton right from day one. But this is like another level in terms of not only his defensive impacts, but now he's affecting the game on offense. He's jumping into plays. He's getting goals. He's creating chances. And it's unbelievable to watch. The Big Viking is so much fun to watch. So Ekholm, since he joined the Oilers, the team has a record of 59, 22, and 5 since he was acquired before last season's deadline. That ranks first place in the entire NHL, by the way. And in that time, he also ranks first in the NHL in plus minus at a plus 62. Now, a lot of people don't put a lot of stock in a plus minus, but when it comes to a stat that really sticks out, and if you are that much ahead of your peers, then I like to mention it because clearly he's doing something very positive when he's on the ice. His impacts are reflecting that type of stat. He is a plus 62 since he joined Edmonton. Again, that ranks first in the league. And he has 7 points in his last 4 games. Now, Ken Holland gets a lot of flack for the trades that he has made, or hasn't made at least, and some of the signings that he's made. And honestly, I get some of it, but I think a lot of it is also unwarranted. The biggest thing that Ken Holland should be criticized for is his inability to draft players that can have an impact on this team. There is no player that he has drafted since he took over as general manager that is having an impact on this roster right now. Not a single player. So that is where the criticism should lie with Ken Holland. But it should not lie with the trades that he's made, and being able to get Ekholm for Tyson Barrie and Reed Schaefer and a first rounder. I mean, holy smokes. That trade, I'm telling you right now, and I don't want to sound hyperbolic, but I'm going to. This trade for Mattias Ekholm is better than when Kevin Lowe dealt for Chris Pronger back in 2005. I'm just saying it. I'm going to be that guy. This is the impact on this roster is more than Chris Pronger's impact back on that 05-06 Oilers. Now, that team made the Cup Finals. Great. Pronger, he requested a trade. A lot of rumors about the off-ice stuff that was going on with, I don't know, his wife didn't want to be in Edmonton anymore. Fine, it happens. But Mattias Ekholm, not only does he love to be here, his wife loves to be here. And this is I don't know. He's just so good, and he's still under contract for 2 more seasons after this year, and I could not be happier. Ken Holland deserves all the praise on the entire planet for this trade. And yeah, could he have done more at the trade deadline this year? Sure. But he still brought in Adam Henrique, which I think is going to, I mean, it's going to work out. And it is kind of working out. Now, Henrique, it takes a little bit to adjust to a new team. And Sam Carrick, there's value in face-offs, especially D-zone draws after icings or on the penalty kill, that sort of thing. So I get why they got Sam Carrick. And Carrick has 9 goals this year, so he can chip in. He could be someone that can chip in the bottom 6 on that 4th line in the playoffs. And once that level of intensity ratchets up, I don't have a huge issue with Sam Carrick, as long as the goals against kind of drops a little bit. His goal differential is not amazing. But Ken Holland overall, in terms of the players that he's been able to bring in at the cost that he's been able to bring them in, more than worth their value. Zach Hyman, Corey Perry, Evander Kane. Now Kane, he's struggling right now, but I just mean since he signed Kane and even when they acquired him 2 seasons ago, that value is there. Henrique's going to be fine. Ekholm has been amazing, so no issues at all here. Ken Holland deserves credit. Let's just give Ken Holland some credit here. And I'm the biggest Ken Holland hater. Like, I am so vocally against Ken Holland and his tenure with the Oilers, but I have no problem with how he has, I don't know, acquired some of these guys and the value that he gave up as opposed to what he got is incredible. So there is credit there. Now, the next player I want to talk about, another defenseman on the Oilers, is Evan Bouchard. Now, always tons of discourse around Evan Bouchard, but he has 15 goals and 52 assists. He has 67 points this season, and he is a plus 28. Now, since February 1st, his on-ice goal differential at 5-on-5 is a plus 19. So at 5-on-5, he's been on the ice for 33 goals for and 14 goals against since February 1st. That leads all defensemen with a 5-on-5 expected goals for percentage of 61.29% since February 1st, with defensemen that have played at least 300 minutes. Now, Ekholm ranks second in that period at 60.24 expected goals for, and Bouchard is 4th in the entire NHL in goals for percentage, sitting at a 70.21 goals for percentage, which is amazing. Ekholm is 6th, by the way. Bouchard also ranks 1st. Now, this is since February 1st. He ranks 1st in these categories: shots for percentage, scoring chances for, and high danger Corsi for. He leads the entire league in those categories since February 1st. Now, if we talk only about his play in the month of March, Evan Bouchard's goal share at 5-on-5 just this month, just through the month of March, he's been on the ice for 16 goals for and 1 goal against at 5-on-5. Or a goals for percentage of 94.12%. That is just absolutely unbelievable. Now, there's a lot of talk that Ekholm carries Bouchard. Well, I think Bouchard also, carries Ekholm in some aspects, and that's why they work so well together. You can't have one without the other. They are a perfect defense pair. They are the best defense pair in the entire NHL. I'm just going to say that Ekholm and Bouchard are the best defense pair in the entire NHL, and do not be surprised if Evan Bouchard is in the Norris conversation. Now, Ekholm, his defensive impacts would say that, hey, he should be in that conversation too. But Bouchard also produces elite offensive talent and production. And the Norris Trophy, it does go to players who can produce a lot of offense while also having, really good defensive impacts. And Evan Bouchard, the advanced stats and just the regular stats, they show that his impacts on the ice defensively are some of the best in the entire NHL. He is an elite defenseman. Now, I'm not saying he's an elite defender, but he's an elite defenseman, and that's kind of just how I look at it. Evan Bouchard has been absolutely phenomenal. He is one of my favorite players. Now, it looks like sometimes the urgency doesn't always look like it's there, but that's just kind of how he looks. He's 6'3", but he's only 190 pounds, so sometimes he looks a little awkward out there on his feet. But honestly, though, Evan Bouchard, the way he plays the game, this is the best defenseman Edmonton has had in my entire lifetime. Yes, of course, you make the argument with Pronger or Ekholm too. I get it. But just all around in terms of offensive ability and defense, Evan Bouchard has been more than worth what he's getting paid right now. The fact that the team bridged him, this is a mistake from Ken Holland, bridging Evan Bouchard here. I know he's making less than $4 million right now. He makes less than $4 million next season. But if Bouchard were to produce at this rate next season too, he's going to get over $10, $11 million per year on his next contract. And I'm just saying we probably could have signed him for about $6.5 million a year long term if we would have been able to manage the salary cap a little bit better. So even though I give Ken Holland a lot of praise, there's times where I'm like, should have managed that one a little better. Now, next player I want to talk about is Connor McDavid. Last night, he had 4 more assists. That brings him to 86 assists on the season, and he is on pace to hit 100 assists in a single season, and he would become only the 4th player in NHL history to accomplish that. He would join Wayne Gretzky, who did it 11 times. Wayne Gretzky had 100 or more assists in a single season 11 times. That just blows my mind. When I was doing research for this video, I could not believe it. That also would join Mario Lemieux and Bobby Orr. Now, people say, oh, but if Matthews hits 70 goals, that's more impressive. Is it? I think there's been 11 players managed to hit the 70 goal mark in NHL history. There's only been 3 players to ever hit 100 assists in a single season. Now, whatever you believe, if you believe goals, count, have more perceived value than assists, that's fine. I don't completely argue against that. Goal scoring is the hardest thing to do in the entire NHL. Scoring goals, it's hard to do. I get it. However, if McDavid accomplishes this feat of hitting 100 assists, this is not a once-in-a-generation thing. This is a once-in-a-lifetime achievement. Like, how many of us watching this video right now have seen a player with 100 assists in a single season? Just curious. Now, obviously, you could be like, oh, well, how many players have also scored 70 goals in our lifetime? Which is true. For younger viewers, that is very rare. There hasn't been a 70-goal scorer probably, off the top of my head, I want to say Brett Hull, but, someone will fact-check me on that because I did not fact-check that. But in terms of the amount of players that have been able to hit 70 goals in a season compared to have been able to hit 100 assists in a season, and the fact that nobody's been able to do it since Wayne Gretzky, or Mario Lemieux, sorry, was it Gretzky? 88, 89? God, I don't... see, I do research, but I'm clearly not great at remembering the research that I do. This is by far, and will be by far, the single greatest single season achievement that I'll have witnessed Connor McDavid do, and that any of us in hockey will have witnessed a player do since those days of the 80s. And that should not be overlooked. Even if Connor McDavid does not win the Art Ross, if he finishes with less points than Kucherov or McKinnon, I still think if he hits 100 assists, that should make him a lock for the Hart Trophy. Yes, you know what? Who cares about the Art Ross? But that would make him a lock. There's no reason for any other player to win the Hart Trophy if McDavid hits the 100 assist accomplishment. And that's just my opinion. I don't know what you guys think about that, but you can let me know your thoughts. Now, another player I want to just quickly touch on here is Zach Hyman. He is 2 goals away from 50. He scored 2 goals last night at home, so he's at 48 goals on the season. And if he scores 2 goals in Toronto, he will hit the 50-goal milestone in Toronto, his former team. All of these former Leafs that Edmonton has gone out and snagged. Could you imagine if Hyman was able to hit 50 goals in Toronto on Hockey Night in Canada? It's a nationally televised broadcast. You have every Leaf fan on the planet watching. You have every Oilers fan on the planet watching. That would be absolutely amazing. I would love to see it. And just for the the optics of it, I think that would be really cool if Zach Hyman could score a couple against the Leafs and hit 50 goals on the season. Now, when it comes to Zach Hyman hitting 50 goals as well, he's actually in pretty rare company. There are not a lot of players in their age 31 or older seasons to hit 50 goals. It is a very, very rare thing to happen. Usually, your prime is between 20 and 28 years old-ish. Now, obviously, the elite of the elite players, they will continue to produce well into their early and mid-30s. It's not until the late 30s that a guy like McDavid is going to start slowing down. And we haven't seen Ovechkin really slow down until recently, and he's, 38 now? Sidney Crosby, he's slowed down. I'll go quotation marks. He's not putting up 120 points a year, but he's still scoring at an elite level, producing at an elite level. A guy like Zach Hyman, his career high in goals before he signed in Edmonton was 21 in a single season. And he signed with the Oilers when he was 29. So, every year he's been with the team, he has increased his goal output. That first year with the Oilers set a career high in goals. Last year with the Oilers set another career high with goals. And then this season, 31 years old, sets another career high in goals. He is breaking and defying what the age curve tells us about players in hockey, not only hockey, but just sports in general, that age curve. As your age goes up, production tends to come down. Zach Hyman is just, you know what? Age going up, and production is actually going to exceed age as well. I don't know how he does it. He's breaking everything I know about performance and analytics and how hockey is supposed to work. And it's unbelievable to watch. I love Zach Hyman. Unbelievable player, and I'm excited for him. He will hit 50 this season, whether it's in Toronto or Ottawa or later this month. Whenever he does it, he will do it, and I absolutely love to see that. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, back to Oilers defensemen, is about Troy Stecher, Cody Ceci, and Vincent Desharnais, who will sit when Vinny returns from his injury. Now, a lot of people are saying Cody Ceci should sit. A lot of people are saying Troy Stecher should sit. A lot of people are saying neither should sit. And, you know, just as long as the team is still winning, keep Desharnais out of the lineup, which I'm not also against either. But, you know, I saw a lot of people complaining about Cody Ceci's game last night against the Sabres, and I don't really know why. Ceci had an expected goals for percentage of over 80%, and most of the complaints were on Buffalo's, was it third goal? When Cody Ceci, he got like a stick. He got a stick tied up on the Sabre that scored, and the puck like dribbled underneath Stuart Skinner. To me, I thought Cody Ceci made a good play there. It was just a kind of a weird goal. It was a goal that Skinner should have saved, in my personal opinion. That wasn't really on Ceci. He didn't give the puck away that led to the goal, and he got 95% of that stick to prevent a good shot from being taken. So, you know, Cody Ceci, again, this is a player that I've had my complaints about throughout the season and throughout his tenure, and I would have actually liked to see him traded for an upgrade at the trade deadline, but they didn't. And Cody Ceci, he has his moments where it's like, oh, that's pretty effective, and then he has moments where it's like, okay, what are you doing? But down on that third pair, he's been fine. I've had no issue with him or Brett Kulak. I feel like they've been playing good hockey overall. Troy Stecher stepped in, played with Darnell Nurse last night. The advanced metrics weren't exactly friendly to those two, but the eye test showed that they played a lot better than I think the analytics were showing. So that was a situation where watching the game has a lot of value instead of just looking at the graphs. If I hadn't seen the game and I looked at their numbers last night, I would have been like, oh, Troy Stecher probably had a rough game. Maybe you take him out of the lineup. That wasn't the case. Troy Stecher, I thought, played good. I thought Darnell Nurse played good. That was a game last night where everyone played good. I had zero complaints. So it's a tough decision because Desharnais is a very effective third-pair defenseman. And when he's healthy, it's going to be tough to take either Stecher or Cody Ceci out of the lineup because everyone's contributing right now, and you love to see that. So what are your thoughts? Who do you think is going to come out of the lineup? Who should go into the lineup? Who should stay permanently? Do you like Troy Stecher? Do you like Ceci? Do you like Desharnais? Which one do you think should be like the full-time second, third pair? And then who should be healthy scratched? Now, I've kind of rambled a whole bunch today. I had a lot to talk about. I'm kind of getting, losing my voice here. So I will let all of you go for now. Tomorrow morning, I will have a pre-game report up for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Edmonton Oilers game. I will break down all the fun facts and all the fun stats as always. And again, as always, for those of you who tune into these videos and that show support, I truly appreciate it. It means so much to me. We just hit 1,700 subscribers. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers, which it would just blow my mind if we hit that milestone at some point this year. So thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video today, make sure you hit like. If you really liked it, make sure you hit subscribe. And I'm going to steal a little slogan from Tim the Tap Man. He's a gaming YouTuber. You don't have to worry about it. But one of the things he says at the end of all of his videos is tell somebody that you love them. And for someone like me, I'm going to start being a bit more positive and just say something like that at the end of videos, just because I think, we don't want to forget about who we are and where we come from and the people in our lives. So as always, take care, tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.